Dr. Hannah Kim stood at the window of the human ship Stellar Harmony, watching the massive alien vessel grow larger in the darkness of space. The Veilthran flagship looked like a giant metal beast with sharp edges and glowing red lights. It was 3 times bigger than any human ship ever built. "Are you ready for this, Dr. Kim?" Captain Daho Park asked as he walked up beside her. His voice was calm, but Hannah could see the worry in his eyes. "As ready as anyone can be to meet the galaxy's most dangerous predators," Hannah replied with a small smile. She had spent 2 years studying everything about the Veilthrans. They were 8 feet tall, covered in dark scales, and had claws that could cut through steel. They had conquered 23 worlds in the last 50 years. Admiral Boyoung Lee joined them at the window. "Remember, this is humanity's first real chance to join the galactic community. We need this trade agreement to work." Chief Engineer Tom and Choi looked up from his data pad. "We're ready to dock with their ship." The Stellar Harmony was humanity's best ship, but it looked like a toy next to the Veilthran vessel. Earth had only been making spaceships for 100 years. The Veilthrans had been traveling between stars for over 1,000 years. "Dr. Kim," Captain Park said, "you're our expert on their culture. Any last advice?" Hannah thought for a moment. "Don't show fear. They respect strength. Don't look away when they stare at you. And whatever you do, don't touch them unless they touch you first." The docking process took 30 minutes. When the airlocks opened, Hannah felt her heart beat faster. The Veilthran ship smelled different, like metal and something wild. The walls were dark red and strange symbols glowed along the corridors. Veilthran warriors waited for them. They were even more frightening in person than in the videos. Their yellow eyes seemed to look right through the humans. Their claws made soft clicking sounds on the metal floor as they walked. "Humans," one of them said in a deep, growling voice. "Follow, War Prince Kethfer waits." The humans followed the warriors through long corridors filled with more Veilthrans. Every alien they passed stopped to stare at them. Some made low, growling sounds. Hannah noticed that the younger Veilthrans looked hungry when they saw the humans. "They're deciding if we look tasty," Hannah whispered to Captain Park. "That's not helping," he whispered back. The ceremony hall was huge. Hundreds of Veilthrans stood, in rows, all watching the humans enter. At the far end of the room, on a raised platform, sat the most terrifying creature Hannah had ever seen. War Prince Kethfer was bigger than the other Veilthrans. His scales were darker, almost black, and covered in scars. His claws were longer and sharper. When he looked at the humans, his yellow eyes seemed to glow. He wore armor made from the bones of creatures Hannah couldn't identify. He said, his voice filling the entire hall, "These are the humans. They look weak." Captain Park stepped forward. "We come in peace, War Prince. We hope to build friendship between our peoples." Kethfer made a sound that might have been laughter. "Friendship, you're prey animals. We are predators. There's no friendship between prey and predator." The hall went completely silent. "You dare speak to me, small one?" he asked. "I am Dr. Hannah Kim," she said, keeping her voice steady. "I study living creatures. I know what prey looks like. Humans are not prey." "Then what are you?" Kethfer asked. "We are the species that lived when the ice covered our world. We are the species that built cities after floods destroyed them. We are the species that reached for the stars, even when we didn't know if we could breathe in space." Kethfer's eyes narrowed. "Brave words," he said, "but words are wind. Actions show truth." That was when everything went wrong. A deep, rumbling sound came from somewhere in the ship. The lights flickered. Emergency alarms started blaring in the Veilthran language. "What's happening?" Admiral Lee shouted over the noise. A Veilthran warrior ran into the hall. "War Prince, the engine core is failing. Something is wrong with the human ship's power systems." Through the large windows, Hannah could see the Stellar Harmony. Bright energy was shooting out from its engine section. Energy was getting brighter and brighter. "Everyone down," Captain Park yelled. The explosion was like a tiny sun being born. The blast wave hit both ships, throwing everyone to the floor. The lights went out completely. Emergency lighting cast everything in red. When Hannah got back to her feet, she saw cracks in the windows. Air was hissing out through the breaks. Emergency doors were slamming shut all around the hall, trapping people in different sections. The spatial drive is creating an anomaly, Engineer Choi shouted. It's pulling the ships apart. Hana felt the floor moving under her feet. The section of the ship she was in was breaking away from the main vessel. She looked around quickly. Most of the humans were on the other side of an emergency door that had sealed shut. Most of the Veilthrons were trapped in other sections. Only 2 beings were left in her section. Herself and War Prince Kethfer. The War Prince was getting to his feet, a long cut bleeding on his forehead. His armor was cracked. Only Hana was with him. His eyes grew bright with what looked like hunger. "Well, human," he said, his voice now a low growl. "It seems you will have a chance to prove you are not prey." The lights flickered again. In the distance, Hana could hear the sounds of the ship breaking apart. Air was getting thin. The emergency systems were failing. She was alone with the most dangerous predator in the galaxy, trapped in a damaged section of a dying ship. The War Prince was wounded, angry, and looking at her like she was his next meal. But Dr. Hannah Kim was not ready to die. Not today. Not like this. "Now let's see who survives," she said. The first thing Hannah noticed was the cold. The section they were trapped in was losing heat fast. Her breath came out in small white clouds. The War Prince didn't seem to notice the cold, but blood was still flowing from the cut on his head. "You are bleeding," Hannah said, taking a step toward him. Kethfer's yellow eyes flashed with warning. "Stay back, human. I am deciding if I should eat you now or wait until I get hungrier." "If you eat me, you'll die too," Hannah said calmly. Pointed to the broken control panels around them. "This section is failing. The air recycler is broken. The heat is leaking out into space. We have maybe 6 hours before we freeze or run out of air." "Then we both die," Kethfer growled. "At least I will die with a full stomach." Hannah shook her head. "Or we both live. I can fix these systems, but you need to let me help you first. Help me." The War Prince made that sound that was almost laughter. "You are prey. Prey does not help predators." "I told you before," Hannah said, opening her small medical kit. "Humans are not prey. We are survivors, and survivors help each other stay alive." Move toward him slowly. Kethfer could have killed her with one swipe of his claws, but he didn't move. Maybe he was curious. Maybe he was too hurt to care. "This will sting," Hannah said, cleaning the cut on his head. The War Prince's blood was darker than human blood, almost purple. "Your people heal fast, but this cut is deep. You're losing too." Much blood. Kethfer watched her work with those bright yellow eyes. "Why do you help me?" "I am your enemy." "Right now, you're not my enemy," Hannah said, bandaging his head. "Right now, you're the only other living thing in this section. If you die, I'm alone. If I die, you're alone. Alone is how people die in space." When she finished, Kethfer touched the bandage. "Human medicine." "Human medicine," Hannah confirmed. "We learned to take care of each other because we had to. Our world was dangerous. Ice, storms, wild animals, diseases. The humans who helped each other lived. Humans who didn't help each other died." She moved to the broken control panels. The damage was bad, but not impossible to fix. "Tell me about your people. How do you survive?" "We are strong," Kethfer said. "We fight. We win. Take what we need." "What happens when you can't fight?" Hannah asked, pulling apart a damaged wire system. "What happens when you're hurt or sick?" "We die," Kethfer said simply. "The weak die. The strong live?" Hannah found the problem with the air recycler. A piece of metal had been driven into the main processor. She needed to remove it without damaging the delicate parts inside. "Can you hold this steady?" she asked, pointing to a heavy piece of equipment. Looked surprised. "You want me to help you?" "I can't fix this alone. I need your strength." The War Prince moved over and held the equipment perfectly still while Hannah worked. His hands were huge, but he was very careful not to touch her. "People," Hannah said while she worked. "Do you have families?" "We have blood packs," Kethfer said. "Groups of warriors who fight together. Do you care about them? They're useful in battle?" Hannah pulled out the piece of metal. Air started flowing again, but it was still too cold. What about when they're hurt? Do you help them? If they can still fight, yes. If they cannot fight, they are no longer useful. That's sad, Hannah said, moving to work on the heating system. Sad, Cuthbert made a confused sound. It is practical, right? Resources are limited. Why waste them on the weak? Because today's weak might be tomorrow's strong, Hannah said. The human who breaks his leg today might save your life next month. The human who gets sick today might invent something that keeps everyone alive next year. She found the heating problem. Power flow was damaged, but she could reroute it through a different system. Hold this wire here. Okay, don't let it touch. The metal Cuthbert held the wire exactly where she pointed. You speak of things that might happen. I deal with what is real. What's real is that we're both alive because we helped each other, Hannah said. You held things steady. I fixed the machines. Neither of us could have done it alone. The heat started working again. The section began to warm up slowly. There, Hannah said, wiping sweat from her face. We won't freeze. They sat in silence for a while, then Cuthbert spoke. How do humans hunt? You're small and slow. You have no claws or fangs, we think, Hannah said. We plan. We work together. We use tools. Tools. Hannah picked up a broken piece of metal and showed him how she had used it like a lever to move heavy things. This makes me stronger. This makes me faster. Humans make tools for everything. Did you hunt in groups? We used to. Long ago, you would. Chase animals until they got tired. Some humans would drive the animal toward other humans who were waiting. It took many humans, but it worked. Cuthbert was quiet for a long time. You hunt with your minds. We hunt with our minds, Hannah agreed. Suddenly alarms started blaring again. Red lights flashed on the walls. Through the cracked windows, they could see small shapes moving in space. Scavenger drones, Cuthbert growled, standing up. They come to take things from damaged ships. Are they dangerous? They will try to cut through the walls. They will take everything, including us. The first drone appeared at the window. It was about the size of a small car, covered in cutting tools and metal arms. It started cutting through the already damaged window. We need to fight them, Cuthbert said. We need to be smart about it, Hannah said. She looked around the room quickly. How many will come? Usually 5 or 6. Can you fight 6 drones? I can try, but you might lose. Cuthbert nodded. I might lose. Then we don't fight them fairly, Hannah said. She started gathering pieces of broken metal and wire. We hunt them with our minds. What do you mean? You're the strongest? I'm the smartest. Together we're something new. Hannah began connecting wires to metal pieces. I'll make traps. You'll drive them into the traps. Like humans hunting animals. First drone broke through the window. Air rushed out, but the emergency systems sealed the break quickly. Trust me, Hannah said, handing Cuthbert a piece of metal she had sharpened. Be the bait. Make them chase you. Cuthbert looked at the makeshift weapon, then at Hannah. For the first time, his yellow eyes showed something besides hunger or anger. They showed respect. Show me how humans hunt, he said. The first scavenger drone came through the broken window like a metal spider. Its cutting arms moved in circles, looking for valuable things to take. Hannah had set up her trap near the door, loose wires connected to broken power cells. Remember, she whispered to Cuthbert, lead it to the sparking wires, then jump away fast. Cuthbert nodded. He had learned to trust her ideas. The war prince moved toward the drone, making noise with his claws on the metal floor. The drones, red sensors focused on him immediately. Come, metal bug, Cuthbert growled. Chase me. The drone shot forward on its small engines. Cuthbert ran toward the trap, timing his steps perfectly. Just as the drone reached the wires, he jumped to the side. The drone flew right into Hannah's electrical trap. Sparks flew everywhere. The drone's systems went crazy, spinning and crashing into the walls before finally going silent. It worked, Cuthbert said, sounding surprised. One down, Hannah said, already. Building another trap. But more are coming. She was right. 2 more drones cut through the walls at the same time. This time, Hannah had made a different trap, a heavy piece of metal balanced on broken supports. When the drones came underneath, Kethfer hit the supports with his claws. The metal fell down and crushed both drones. "You think like a hunter," Kethfer said. "But you do not think like any hunter I know, because I'm not trying to be stronger than them," Hannah said, working on a third trap. "I'm trying to be smarter than them." 3 more drones appeared. These ones were bigger and moved more carefully. They had learned from watching the others die. "They adapt," Kethfer said. "So do we," Hannah replied. She had used the last of the good materials for her traps. Now she needed a new plan. "Can you reach that control panel up there?" Kethfer looked up at the ceiling. "Yes. But why? I need you to turn off the gravity in this room. Can you do that?" "The gravity. Why would you want to float?" "Because they're built for fighting in gravity. If there's no gravity, they can't control their movements as well." Kethfer climbed up the wall using his claws. He was amazingly strong and fast. When he reached the control panel, he looked back at Hannah. "Are you sure about this?" "Trust me," she said. The gravity turned off. Immediately, everything that wasn't attached to the floor began floating. The 3 drones tried to move forward, but they kept spinning and crashing into things. Hannah pushed off from the wall and flew through the air toward one of the drones. She had tied sharp metal pieces to her belt. As she flew past the drone, she cut its main power line. The drone went dead. Kethfer watched her move through the air like she was swimming. Then he copied her, using his claws to push off from the ceiling. He was much stronger than Hannah, so he moved faster. He destroyed the other 2 drones quickly. When all the drones were dead, Kethfer turned the gravity back on. They both fell to the floor, but they were laughing. "You fight like no creature I have ever seen," Kethfer said. "You use everything around you as a weapon." "That's what humans do," Hannah said. "We adapt. We use whatever we have. We never give up." They spent the next 2 days working together to fix more of the ship's systems. Hannah showed Kethfer how to repair things instead of just breaking them. Kethfer showed Hannah how to move heavy objects and how to be stronger than she looked. "Your people," Hannah said while they worked. "They only know how to take things by force." "It is our way," Kethfer said. "The strong rule, the weak serve." "But what if there was another way?" Hannah asked. "What if instead of taking things, you could trade for them? What if instead of ruling people, you could work with them?" Kethfer stopped working. "You speak of impossible things. Are they impossible?" Hannah asked. "We just worked together. We both became stronger because of it. I couldn't have defeated those drones alone. You couldn't have repaired these systems alone. Together, we did both. That is different. We were trapped. We had no choice." "We always have choices," Hannah said. "Your people choose to fight. My people choose to cooperate. Both choices make us who we are." On the 3rd day, they finally reached the communication array. It was badly damaged, but Hannah thought she could fix it. "If we contact our fleets," Kethfer said, "they will try to rescue us." "Yes," Hannah said. "But they will also blame each other for the accident. There will be war." Hannah stopped working. She hadn't thought about that. "You're right. My people will think your people caused the explosion. Your people will think my people caused it." "War is coming," Kethfer said. "Unless... Unless what?" "Unless we show them that it does not have to be war." Hannah looked at him. "What do you mean?" "We tell them we choose to stay together. We tell them that if they fight, we both die. They cannot rescue one without rescuing both. It's very risky," Hannah said. "They might decide we're not worth saving. They might decide we are worth listening to." Hannah thought about it. It was dangerous. But it was also the only way to prevent a war that would hurt millions of people. "Okay," she said. "But while we're keeping them from fighting, I want to show you something else." She finished fixing the communication array. Soon, voices were coming through from both fleets. "Kim, are you alive?" Captain Park's voice was full of worry. "War Prince Kethfer, report." Another voice, deeper and more threatening. "We're both alive," Hannah said into the communicator. "But we're not leaving this ship until you promise not to fight each other." What? Captain Park sounded shocked. The human speaks truth, Kethfer said. We have learned to survive together. We will not let you destroy what we have built. Built? The Veilthrin commander's voice was angry. What have you built? Something new, Hannah said. Something that could change everything. Over the next few hours, while both fleets argued and threatened, Hannah and Kethver worked together to solve the ship's biggest problem. The main engine was dead. Everyone thought it couldn't be fixed. But Hannah had an idea. She showed Kethver how human engines worked, and he showed her how Veilthrin engines worked. Together, they figured out how to combine both technologies. This should not be possible, Kethver said as they worked. Humans love doing impossible things, Hannah said. Been doing impossible things for thousands of years. When they finally got the engine working, the entire ship shook with new power. The lights became brighter. The air became cleaner. The ship was not just fixed, it was better than before. How did you do this? The Veilthrin commander's voice was full of amazement. We combined human innovation with Veilthrin engineering, Hannah said. We made something neither of us could make alone. This changes everything, Kethver said quietly. Yes, Hannah agreed. It does, but they both knew the real test was just beginning, because now both fleets knew that humans and Veilthrins could work together, and that knowledge would either save the galaxy or destroy it. The news of the impossible engine spread through both fleets like wildfire. Within hours, every ship in the area knew that a human and a Veilthrin had worked together to create something amazing, War Commander. Nyxthera was the first Veilthrin leader to contact them. Her voice was cold and angry. War Prince Kethver, explain yourself. Why do you work with prey? Because the prey is not prey, Kethver answered. The human thinks in ways we do not. She sees solutions where we see only problems. This is weakness. Nyxthera said. You have been corrupted by the human. Have I? Kethver asked. Look at what we've built together. Look at this engine. It is more powerful than any engine our people have ever made. If this is weakness, then weakness is stronger than our strength. From the human fleet, Dr. Jinwoo Seo contacted them. Dr. Kim, we need you to return immediately. The situation is getting dangerous. The situation is dangerous because people are afraid of change, Hannah said. Change is coming, whether we want it or not. We can either learn from it or be destroyed by it. What do you mean? Dr. Seo asked. I mean that, while we've been talking, more ships have arrived. Ships that don't belong to either humans or Veilthrins. She was right. Long silver ships were coming out of hyperspace, ships with symbols that both humans and Veilthrins knew well, the mark of the Krillian supremacy. The Krillians, Captain Park's voice was worried. Why are they here? Because they control the galaxy by keeping everyone else weak, Hannah said. They don't want humans and Veilthrins to become friends. They want us to fight each other. High Admiral Zexmorin's voice came through the communication system. His voice was smooth and cold. All ships will stand down. This incident will be investigated by the Confederation Authority. What incident? Kethver asked. The accident that brought us together? The accident that we believe was caused by human technology interfering with Veilthrin systems, Zexmorin said. The humans will be placed under protective custody while we investigate. That's not true, Hannah said. The accident was caused by a power surge in our spatial drive. It was nobody's fault. It is for us to decide, Zexmorin said. Ships will surrender now. No, Captain Park said. Then you will be destroyed, Zexmorin said. That was when Kethver spoke up. If you attack the humans, you attack us. Would you say, War Commander? Nyxthera's voice was shocked, said that if the Krillians attack the humans, they attack the Veilthrins too. We stand together. You cannot speak for all Veilthrins, Nyxthera said. Can't I? Kethver asked. But your engineering reports. Look at what happens when your people work with human engineers. He was right. While the fleets had been arguing, some of the Veilthrin engineers had been talking to their human counterparts. They had been sharing ideas about how to fix their ships. Engineer Sujin Han had shown them how to repair systems that the Veilthrins had thought were broken forever. The Veilthrin engineers had shown her how to make human systems stronger and more durable. This is impossible, one Veilthrin engineer reported to his commander. The human methods work better than our methods. The human learns fast, another reported. She understands our technology faster than some of our own people. War Commander Nixthera was quiet for a long time. Show me this engine you built together. Hannah and Kethfer gave a complete report on how they had combined human and Veilthrin technology. They explained every step, every decision, every breakthrough. The human innovation allowed us to see our own technology in a new way, Kethfer said. The Veilthrin engineering made the human ideas strong enough to work. And this engine is more powerful than anything either of us could build alone? Nixthera asked. 3 times more powerful, Hannah confirmed, and it uses half the energy. Impossible. Zexmorin's voice cut in. Wait. No species can improve technology that fast. You are lying. Then come and see for yourself, Kethfer said. I will, Zexmorin said. And when I prove you are lying, the humans will be taken away for the safety of the galaxy. But when the Krillian inspection team arrived, they found exactly what Hannah and Kethfer had said. The engine was real, it was powerful, and it was clearly built using both human and Veilthrin technology. How did you do this? The Krillian scientist asked. We listened to each other, Hannah said. We learned from each other. We built something new together. This is not possible, the scientist said. Species cannot work together like this. It goes against natural law. Whose natural law? Kethfer asked. The law that says strong species must rule weak species? It's a law that says different species must fight each other? The law of survival, the scientist said. We survived, Hannah said. We survived together, and we became stronger because of it. The inspection team reported back. To Zexmorin, High Admiral, the technology is real. Somehow they have created something that should not exist. Then we must make sure it does not spread, Zexmorin said. But it was too late. The idea was already spreading. On both fleets, engineers were talking to each other. Warriors were sharing fighting techniques. Scientists were comparing notes about different worlds and different species. Look at this, Dr. Sia reported to Captain Park. The Veilthrin warriors have been showing our security teams their combat methods. Our teams are learning faster than they ever have before. And our medical knowledge, Dr. Kim reported, that Veilthrins are fascinated by how we treat injuries. They want to learn how to heal people instead of just letting them die. Captain Park contacted Hannah directly. Dr. Kim, what have you started? I've started something that should have started long ago, Hannah said. I've started people learning that different doesn't mean enemy. War Commander Nixthera was having the same conversation with her people. My warriors are becoming stronger. By learning human tactics, my engineers are solving problems they could never solve before. My scientists are discovering new things every day. And what does this mean for us? Her second-in-command asked. It means we have been wrong about many things, Nixthera said. It means the galaxy is bigger than we thought. It means there are better ways to be strong than just fighting. But not everyone was happy with these changes. Zexmorin's voice came through the communication system again. This contamination must be stopped, he said. I am calling for a full Confederation fleet. All ships will be quarantined until we can determine how to contain this threat. What threat? Captain Park asked. The threat of species working together, Zexmorin said. The threat of the natural order being destroyed. The threat of chaos replacing the stability we have built. You mean the threat of you losing control? Hannah said. I mean the threat of the galaxy being destroyed by species who think they can ignore the laws of nature. We're not ignoring the laws of nature, Kethfer said. We're learning new laws, better laws. There are no better laws, Zexmorin said. There is only order and chaos. And we choose order. The Krillian fleet was growing larger. More ships were arriving every hour. Soon, they would outnumber the human and Veilthrin fleets combined. They're going to attack, Captain Park said. Let them come, War Commander, Nixthera said. We will fight together. Fighting won't solve this, Hannah said. We need to show the galaxy what we've learned. We need to show them that cooperation is stronger than control. How, Kethfer asked. By doing something the Krillians think is impossible, Hannah said. By building something so amazing that the entire galaxy will have to pay attention. What do you want to build? Kethfer asked. A future, Hannah said. A future where different species work together instead of fighting each other. A future where strength comes from cooperation instead of domination. And how do we build this? Future the same way we built this engine, Hannah said. We together. The Krillian fleet surrounded both the human and Veilthran ships. There were 50 Krillian vessels against 12 human ships and 8 Veilthran ships. High Admiral Zexmoran's flagship was 3 times larger than any other ship in the area. Elise, is your final warning? Zexmoran's voice echoed through space. All human ships will surrender immediately. All Veilthran ships will return to their territory. This contamination ends now. What contamination? Captain Park asked. The contamination of species working together, Zexmoran said. For 1,000 years, the galaxy has been stable because every species knows its place. The strong rule, the weak serve. This is natural law. Natural law, according to who? Hannah asked from her position on the damaged ship. According to those who have kept the galaxy from destroying itself, Zexmoran replied. We have prevented wars. We have maintained order. We have kept the peace. We have kept control, Kethfer said. There is a difference. Silence. Zexmoran's voice was angry now. You will surrender, or you will be destroyed. You have 30 minutes to decide. That was when Captain Park made a decision that surprised everyone. All human ships, this is Captain Park. I am ordering you to share all of our technology with the Veilthran fleet, Captain Doctor? Sio's voice was confused. That's against every protocol we have. Our protocols are about to become useless, Captain Park said. Dr. Kim, are you ready to show the galaxy what you've learned? More than ready, Hannah said. She looked at Kethfer. Are your people ready to learn? We are ready, Kethfer said. He opened a channel to all Veilthran ships. All warriors, all engineers, all commanders. The humans are about to teach us new ways to be strong. Listen to them. Learn from them. Nyxthera's voice came through. All ships, you heard the war prince? These humans have shown us that there are better ways to fight, better ways to build, better ways to survive. We will learn these ways. What happened next amazed everyone, including the Krillians. The humans began teaching the Veilthrans everything. They knew how to repair ships faster, how to make weapons more accurate, how to work together as teams instead of just individual fighters. The Veilthrans taught the humans their secrets too. How to make ship hulls stronger. How to move faster in space combat. How to be brave when facing impossible odds. But most importantly, they began building something new together. What are they doing? One of the Krillian commanders asked. They're combining their shield systems, the science officer reported. But that's impossible. Human and Veilthran technology can't work together. Apparently it can, Zexmoran said grimly. The human and Veilthran ships were linking their defensive systems together. The human shields were good at stopping energy. Weapons. The Veilthran shields were good at stopping physical weapons. Together, they created a defense that could stop anything. 15 minutes remaining, Zexmoran announced. We need more time, Dr. Sue said. We don't have more time, Hannah replied. But we don't need more time. We just need to show them what we've already learned. She began broadcasting on all frequencies, a frequency that every ship in the galaxy could hear. My name is Dr. Hannah. Kim, she said. 5 days ago I was trapped on a damaged ship with War Prince Kethfer. Everyone expected us to fight each other. Everyone expected one of us to kill the other. Instead, Kethfer continued the broadcast. We learned to work. Together we learned that different does not mean enemy. We learned that cooperation makes us stronger than fighting ever could. In 5 days, Hannah said, we repaired systems that neither of us could fix alone. We defeated enemies that neither of us could defeat alone. We built technology that neither of us could build alone. And now, Kethfer said, we offer this knowledge to the galaxy, not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as friends. 10 minutes remaining, Zexmoran said. But something was happening throughout the galaxy. The broadcast was being heard on thousands of worlds. Other species were listening to what Hannah and Kethfer had to say. They speak of cooperation, came a voice from a ship just arriving in the system. We have heard rumors of this. We came to see if it was true. More ships began appearing. Ships from a dozen different species. All of them had come to see this impossible thing, humans and Veilthrins working together. The Zephyrians are here, someone reported. The Aquatic Federation just arrived. 3 crystalline ships just came out of hyperspace. This is not possible, Zexmoran said. How did they all know to come here? Because word travels fast when people hear about hope, Hannah said. Captain Park opened a channel to all the new ships. Welcome, friends. You're about to show the galaxy something new. 5 minutes remaining, Zexmoran announced. But his voice sounded less confident now. That was when the real demonstration began. The human and Veilthrin ships didn't just link their shields, they linked everything. Their engines, their weapons, their computers, their life support systems. 20 ships became one giant ship that worked better than any ship ever built. Impossible, the Corellian science officer whispered. Report, Zexmoran demanded. Sir, they're not just working together. They're becoming something new, something we've never seen before. The other species began asking questions. How are they doing this? Can we learn to do this too? Will they teach us? Yes. Hannah broadcast to all of them. We will teach anyone who wants to learn. This is not about humans or Veilthrins. This is about all of us. Time is up, Zexmoran announced. All ships, prepare to fire. But the Corellian ships hesitated. Their crews were watching the impossible thing happening in front of them. They were seeing species work together in ways they had been told were impossible. Zexmoran shouted. Sir, one of his commanders said quietly, maybe we should listen to what they're saying. Never. Fire all weapons. Only half the Corellian ships fired. The combined human-Veilthrin fleet's shields absorbed the attack easily. The new shield system worked perfectly. Please, Hannah, broadcast to the Corellian fleet. You don't have to be our enemies. You can be our friends too. We can teach you what we've learned, Kethfer added. We can all be stronger together. More Corellian ships stopped firing. Their crews were talking to each other, questioning orders they had never questioned before. This is mutiny, Zexmoran screamed. No, said one of his own commanders. That is evolution? Ships from more species kept arriving. The Avian Collective, Silicon Mines, the Energy Beings, all of them wanted to see this miracle of cooperation, and one by one, they asked the same question. Will you teach us? Yes, Hannah and Kethfer said together. The final moment came when the representatives from each species gathered in space. Around the combined human-Veilthrin fleet, Captain Park, War Commander Nixthera, and dozens of other leaders floated in spacesuits between the ships, and then something happened that had never happened in galactic history. The representatives from every species performed the human gesture of respect. They knelt in space, not in surrender, not in submission, but in gratitude. Thank you, they said, for showing us a better way. Even some of the Corellian ships joined the circle. Their crews had chosen cooperation over control. High Admiral Zexmoran's ship sat alone, surrounded by species that were no longer afraid of each other. This is not over, he broadcast. You're right, Hannah replied. It's not over, it's just beginning. 6 months later, the new galactic cooperation was formed. Not a government that ruled through force, but a community that grew through friendship. Dr. Hannah Kim and War Prince Kethfer became the first human Veilthrin joint ambassadors. Their job was to help other species learn to work together. The galaxy had learned something new. That diversity was not a weakness to be controlled, but a strength to be celebrated. And it all started with one human and one Veilthrin, trapped together in a damaged ship, choosing to trust each other instead of fight each other. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what it needed.